everybody, it's Connie Stewart with simplysimplestamping.com, and I am back with another video in my masterclass for November 2021. We have been talking about stocking stuffers. You know, Santa does a great job, but sometimes he needs a little extra help. And so today I have a really fun little project. We're going to be using one of my favorites, Ghirardelli chocolate squares. Let me show you the projects we're going to create today. I have been creating these little simple stacks of Ghirardelli chocolates for years, and you can see I've got a lot of different varieties. But what I love most about this project, I'm going to teach you how to make 6 of these little chocolate squares and these little holders with just one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm telling you, these are super cute, and you're going to find many different uses for them long beyond the holidays. So are you ready to get started? Okay, we are going to head over to my stamping table, and I have something special to share with you a little bit later on in the video. So make sure you stay tuned till the end. Oh, I have had more fun creating these little stocking stuffers. And, you know, these would be a great little, just a little treat to put on a coworker's desk, right? Okay, so the first thing I need you to know is that all Ghirardelli chocolates are not created equal. Oh my goodness, I discovered this as I was creating these. So you see here, I have some of my Ghirardelli squares are filled. I've got sea salt caramel, that's my personal favorite. We've got a milk chocolate caramel, and we have a mint. I'm sure there are more. These are just the ones that I found. But the ones that have a filling tend to be much thicker than the ones that don't. So here's a couple. So this would be any of your basic, you know, your milk chocolate, your dark chocolate. These are my intense dark chocolate. They are thinner than the filled chocolates. But guess what? I've got you covered. We're going to do Ghirardelli chocolate holders for both sizes. But I wanted you to be aware that just not all of these are going to be the same size. So if you have them filled, you'll follow one set of directions. If you have them unfilled, you'll follow another set of directions. We're going to create this little happy holidays, and this one does have filled chocolate. So I'm going to teach you that version first. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one single sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and with that, we're going to create 6 of these treat holders. How about that? Isn't it great to like cut once or stamp once, get everything done, and then we're going to make 6 of them. Now, if you want to make just one, I have measurements for that too, but the first thing I want to teach you is how to do the 6. So I've got this great blank piece of cardstock, and I need to do a little decorating. So I'm going to bring in my poinsettia petals stamp set. This is just the one that I chose. Use your favorite Christmas set. But I love poinsettias, and I love cherry cobbler cardstock. So we're going to bring in a cherry cobbler ink pad. And this stamp set has this really great giant poinsettia in it. And I am going to randomly stamp the poinsettia all over this cherry cobbler cardstock. I'm now going to bring in a little grid paper because I do want to get the edges of this cardstock. I want to make sure everything is good and filled in. All right, we've got the random stamping done. We're now going to come in with a Memento black ink pad. And inside that stamp set, you have some little dots that are going to go inside the poinsettia. And you notice how it just kind of makes the flower. Now it just really pops, right? So let's fill in all of these flowers. Now I'm going to come in with my happy holidays. And remember, you can use your favorite stamp set here. This is just the one that I chose. And stick around. I'll have some other little treat holders that you can see so that you can get a little more inspiration. By the way, do you notice how I'm just kind of rotating my cardstock around? It's what's helping me kind of have that random look that I really want to go for here. Remember, we're going to be chopping this up. So don't worry about trying to get anything straight because this is going to wrap around and it's going to be cut in some different directions. So the good news is there's no right or wrong. All right, lots of good random going on there. Now, remember those little dots? Well, I thought they sure worked well to fill in any other space that I kind of had hanging out there, right? We sometimes just need a little bit of an extra filler. And are you inspired? Because basically what we're doing here is we are making our own designer series paper. You could use this exact same thing and cut this up to create some card fronts too. So, all right, we've kind of filled in. I think that looks really good. It's now time to do some cutting and scoring. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and we're going to do one cut and then we're going to do some scoring. Okay. So we're going to start and we're going to cut 2 inches. You notice I have the 8.5 up here at the top. Let me make sure that's there for you. So there's the 8.5 at the top. So we're going to cut this down basically to 6.5 inches. So 2 inches have been cut off. Now I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to rotate it. Let's cut this down to 6.5 inches. All right, that one is done. Now we are going to bring in this is now 6.5 by 11. And now it's time to do that scoring because, you know, we love to score once and get everything scored. Here's what we're going to do. With the 6.5 inches up at the top, and let's make sure we're using our scoring blade and not our cutting blade. We're going to begin and we're going to score at 1 inch all the way down, and then we'll score at 2 3/4 of an inch. Slide it down again, 3 3/4 of an inch. And our last scoring measurement is 5.5. So do you see, we just did all the scoring. Now we can rotate this around and we're going to cut this down into 5 treat holders that are 2 inches by 6.5. And do you see, look, my scoring is all done on all of these. So yeah, there's just your time-saving tip. We love that. We'll get all of these cut. And by the way, this first one that we cut, we're just going to do those same scoring measurements to this one. And remember, that's 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5.5. And just like that, we are ready for 6 treat holders. Now remember, if you just want to do one, it's just going to be a 2 by 6.5, scored again, 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5.5. You're going to want to now come in with your bone folder and give all of those score lines a good crease. And now let's bring in our chocolate squares. Remember, these are the filled ones. And you can adhere the chocolate squares together if you'd like. But honestly, I find that they stay in the box pretty easily. And I just didn't have to do that. And makes it a little easier for the recipient to get those little treats out. So you can see this is just simply going to wrap around and adhere right over here. So pretty simple to do. Take your favorite adhesive and put it all over one of these flaps, okay? It's going to come around and we'll just line up the edges and it will just adhere together like so. Now, I want you to kind of see, you know, those treats are in there pretty good. So as I said, you can adhere them together, but I find they hold pretty well. At this point, we are going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and use my ribbon to tie this up. And you're going to need 6 pieces of 16-inch ribbon. All right, I'm going to use this gold shimmer ribbon. It's just one of my favorites. I think it's so shiny, and so is the Ghirardelli square, right? It's got that nice shimmer. So I thought this one would be really, really nice. So let's go ahead. We're going to tie this in a bow. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can also leave that ribbon on the spool. And that's, for some people, I think that's helpful to do it that way. So we've got our pretty little shimmery bow here. Now we're going to create a simple tag. And to do that, we are going to use our everyday label punch. This one is just one of my favorites. I've got just some scrap cardstock, some basic white cardstock, and you're going to need 6 tags, again, for your 6 treat holders. All right, let's do a little stamping. So I'm going to come in with the kind of berry leafy image here, and I want to kind of keep that up here at the top as close as I can. And I realize I'm off a little bit, and that really is okay. I'm now going to come in with cherry cobbler, and this is a 2-step stamp. And that means I can stamp my berries for my little leaf image perfectly in there. It's what we love about those photopolymer stamps, right? And now I'll come back in with that Happy Holidays that I used earlier. And just like that, I've got a tag. Now, obviously, we're going to repeat this 6 times. I decided I wanted to dress up my little treat holders a little bit. So I'm using some of the brushed metallic cardstock. This stuff is so pretty. And again, it just kind of steps it up a notch. I'm going to put just a little adhesive here on the back so I can adhere these together. And I just want, that gold metallic to just kind of peek out a little bit there. And then I've got my mini glue dots. We're going to use 2 of these. So we're going to put 1 on the back, flip it over, and 1 on the front. So basically that is sandwiched between 2 mini glue dots. We'll take that, we're going to tuck it underneath the bow, give it a press, and just like that, our little treat holder is done. Now, again, we're going to repeat this 6 more times. And I have some more tips and tricks I want to share with you, because remember I said if you're using other unfilled chocolates, the measurements are going to be different. So I want to share those with you. And so for that one, I created the Sending You Peppermint Kisses. And so the measurements for this one, for an unfilled, are as follows. So this is a 6 1/4 inch by 2 inch. So I just cut off 1/4 inch is all I've done. Now for this one, you're going to score it 3/4 inch, 2 3/4, 3 1/2, and 5 1/2. And that size is also perfect now. Again, just cut off a little bit and score just a little bit different. And now my unfilled peppermints fit perfect. Now I did want to show you what I did on this one because, well, first of all, with the peppermint bark, I thought the frosted gingerbread stamp set was just perfect to say Sending You Peppermint Kisses. You notice I did embossing instead of stamping on this one. So I used my checks and dots embossing folder. And let me show you how I did that, because there is just a little trick to that. So you're going to put this into your embossing folder, and you notice it's not all going to fit. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up that score line with the edge of the embossing folder. This is the area that's going to be tucked inside. So I'll run that through my embossing folder, and when I do, there you can see that isn't embossed. So when you wrap this around, it's going to be tucked inside. So you'll have that fabulous embossing all over, and then you can just put your adhesive right there, tuck it in, and you're going to be ready to go. So there is a little trick for you. Also for my peppermint, I used the Evening Evergreen ribbon. And do you notice I used vellum? Oh, I thought that was just so pretty, kind of hanging out of the back. And again, same thing, just punched another one of our everyday label punches. I mentioned I had a little something special for you, and I do. If you will head over to simplysimplestamping.com, or you can look down in the YouTube description and you'll find a direct link there. I have a free download for you. Yeah, this is like a 7-page tutorial. It is absolutely free just because, well, you're kind of awesome. And I love to give away free tutorials from time to time. If you'll head over there, you're going to find the diagrams that I used in my video. Makes it super easy. You're going to be creating these fabulous little Ghirardelli chocolate squares like that. So be sure to go check it out. All right, now I want to show you a few alternative projects featuring the Ghirardelli chocolate holders. And that is on this one. May Your Seasons Sparkle. And for this, I used the blue Ghirardelli chocolate squares, dark chocolate with sea salt. This one is what I'm calling my Elsa. This is my frozen treat. So if you've got those granddaughters who love to let it go, well, this is going to be the perfect one for them. But I have something to show you. First of all, this is a little bit bigger than the everyday label punch. So I'm going to show you my trick on how to extend that punch. So for this one, I'm using this sentiment, May Your Season Sparkle from Snowflake Wishes. And I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. The length of it doesn't matter as long as it is longer than your actual sentiment, but it is cut 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to bring in that everyday label punch and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to slide that cardstock in, but I'm going to pull it out of my punch. Can you see? I just pulled it out of there, and then we can just line that edge up give that a punch. Oh my goodness, look what that just did, right? So now I'll come in with my stamp set and my balmy blue ink pad, stamp my sentiment. I'll come back in with the paper and the punch, and now we're going to slide it out the other direction. I can line that up right there on the edge, and when I have that set right where I want it, punch, I now have a much longer everyday label punch. Oh my goodness. Now, let's do the same thing with that background. This is a piece of vellum cardstock. So let's do that same thing. It's 1.5 inches wide. We'll punch off the edge. Now I'm going to take my tag here. I'm just going to line it up there because I need a visual of how long I want this to go. We'll pop it back in here, give myself, make it a little bit longer, punch. Oh my goodness. Is that a great tip or what? Now when I add those together, you see my little vellum kind of peeks out. There is my finished project. I let that peek out. I used that white organdy glittered ribbon. Again, it's so Elsa. And you see, I just stamped all over my cardstock with that same stamp set. Yeah, snowflake wishes. It was just perfect. So I think this little treat would be perfect if you were having a frozen birthday party for some fun little girls that love their frozen queens, right? Wedding favors. Oh my gosh, that is something that we do really like to be able to make ourselves and save a little money. So I thought I'd show you my wedding version. So here I use that same balmy blue, but this time I used the color and contour. And I said, thank you for everything. Again, use that pretty, very wedding-esque ribbon. Thank you for everything. And then I used some silver brushed metallic cardstock. So I thought that made a really pretty wedding favor. Now this one, I got to tell you, this one's a favorite because these were my wedding colors. Yes, 30 years ago, black, red, and white were my wedding colors along with gold. Yes, I had gold accents. And I said, these are the moments we'll look back with joy. Added some red rhinestones and some pretty red ribbon. This one here, because yes, black was one of my wedding colors. Don't judge. It was beautiful. But the Ghirardelli, the intense chocolate, dark chocolates were actually in a black wrapper. And so that kind of inspired me to reminisce about my wedding colors. The wrapper was that gold metallic brushed cardstock. So these were like super easy. If you were to create these for a wedding, think you can make 6 of them at one time. And so another fun way to use your Ghirardelli chocolate square treat holders. Thank you everyone so much for being a part of the video. I hope that you enjoyed what you saw today. If you did, I would love a thumbs up on YouTube, and I'd also love to have you as a subscriber here on my channel. Just click that great big red subscribe button. YouTube can let you know whenever I'm back with a new video. I love to share some really fun and unique stamping ideas with you. So why not join us? Thank you again for being here, everybody. Make it a great day. Can't wait to stamp with you again soon. Bye-bye.